Episode 9. The Final Showdown. The palace buzzed with unease the next morning. Guards patrolled the halls with increased vigilance, and whispers of Henry's growing anger spread among the servants. Astor remained in his chambers, waiting for Marcus to return with news of the hidden letter. Every second felt like an eternity. Finally, Marcus slipped into the room, his expression grim but determined. "The letter is safe, Your Highness," he said. "I've given it to Lady Helena, a trusted ally in the court. She'll present it to the king at today's council meeting." Relief flooded Astor's chest. Lady Helena was known for her wisdom and fairness. If anyone could convince the king of Henry's treachery, it was her. But Astor knew he couldn't sit idly by. He had to face Henry himself and protect the village from the brewing storm. In the council chamber, King Roland sat at the head of the grand table, flanked by his advisors. Henry stood nearby, his face composed but his eyes sharp with suspicion. The tension in the room was palpable as the meeting began. Lady Helena stepped forward, her voice steady as she addressed the king. "Your Majesty, I bring urgent evidence of treachery within the court." She held up the intercepted letter, its broken seal a testament to its authenticity. Henry's composure faltered for a brief moment before he spoke. "Your Majesty, this is absurd. That letter is nothing more than a fabrication, a desperate attempt to discredit me." Lady Helena's eyes narrowed. "The contents of this letter align with the whispers we've heard in the village. Your claims of rebellion were designed to sow fear and strengthen your hold over the crown." The king's gaze darkened as he read the letter. The room fell silent, the weight of the evidence pressing down on everyone present. At that moment, the doors to the chamber burst open, and Astor strode in, his head held high. "Father," he said firmly, "I can confirm Lady Helena's words. Henry has manipulated you and endangered innocent lives." Henry turned to face Astor, his face twisting with fury. "Your Highness, you overstep your bounds. Your reckless actions have already brought disgrace upon the throne." "No," Astor said, his voice unwavering. "I sought the truth and I found it. You've lied to the crown and used the people's fear for your own gain. Your schemes end here." The king's eyes flicked between Henry and Astor, uncertainty clouding his expression. "Henry," he said slowly, "you have served this court for many years. Have you betrayed my trust?" Before Henry could respond, one of the guards stepped forward. "Your Majesty, the villagers have gathered at the palace gates. They demand answers." The king rose from his seat, his face a mix of anger and resolve. "Then we shall give them answers." At the palace gates, a large crowd of villagers stood, their faces tense but hopeful. Chris was among them, his heart pounding as he spotted Astor standing beside the king. Their eyes met briefly, and Chris nodded in silent support. King Roland addressed the crowd, his voice carrying authority. "People of the village, I have heard your concerns and learned of the deception within my court. Justice will be served." Henry stepped forward, his face pale but defiant. "Your Majesty, do not let the words of a boy sway you. The villagers are dangerous. They cannot be trusted." Astor stepped in front of Henry, his voice ringing out. "The villagers are not the enemy. You are, Henry. Your lies and manipulation have brought us to this point. It's time you answer for your crimes." The crowd erupted in cheers as the guards moved to apprehend Henry. He struggled briefly, but his protests were drowned out by the people's voices. Later, in the quiet of the palace gardens, Astor found Chris waiting by the fountain. The tension between them melted as Astor approached, his face weary but hopeful. "I meant every word in my letter," Astor said softly. "I only hope you can give me another chance." Chris smiled, the weight of the past days lifting. "You've proven yourself, Astor. I trust you." As the two stood together, the palace and the village seemed closer than ever. The storm had passed, but a new journey was just beginning.